Hello, hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I know this is a really informal setup, so please feel free to gather some stools, some chairs. I really want to see all your beautiful faces, and I'm sure you will want to see the beautiful faces of the outstanding female entrepreneurs that will be joining us in here today. Thank you all. This is the last program of today's day, so no pressure. I mean, we really want to make it the cherry on top because we have had really insightful conversations and really interesting panels, and I am sure that our founders will also provide you with more insightful conversations and a lot of inspiration and beautiful stories and challenges they face. This section is all about the Bio Foundation Women Empowerment Award of 2022. So we have our 5 winners selected, and with us here today we have 4 of them. The goal of today is mainly for you to get to know the award, but most important, the outstanding female entrepreneurs, their stories, the challenges they face, and the solutions that they provide that we do believe harvest a healthier future in the sub-Saharan Africa. To really review what is going to happen, we're going to try to make it as fun, as engaging, informal as possible. I know we have had a really packed day, and we're all looking forward to the barbecue. But you really do not want to miss what these female entrepreneurs have to tell you. So we're going to have a really quick welcome. Then we're going to get to know the winners, which is what it is all about. So I'm going to really appreciate for you to pay attention to them. And afterwards, of course, we will get the bubbles, and we will all together celebrate and toast to harvesting a healthier future. To welcome, I mainly want to give the floor directly to Stefan from Bio Foundation to quickly explain what the Women Empowerment Award of 2002 has been all about. I think we're missing one mic over there. So thank you, Stefan. Please, how has this journey been? Because we've had a lot of months. We always say it's been 9 months, so we have given birth to 5 babies, the 5 winners.
Welcome again, everyone, and thank you for your patience, for your endurance, for your spirit. I think it's the best sign that everybody just wants to keep talking, connecting, and making this a very, very fun evening. But like you said, Sarah, you don't want to miss out on it.
No, they really don't.
This is, is the moment, basically, of truth. Like these women out here, we just had a discussion on why it is so hard for women entrepreneurs to get funding, and how we can change that and make it happen. So here are 4 role models and we have another 4, right?
Yeah.
So out of the 10, I think we have 8 here who can serve as role models to change the game towards this, and this is why I think they deserve all of the attention. And just a round of applause, please, to get started. Also for yourselves, obviously. But again, chipping in here for Monica and Pong, who aren't here. I'm the man on the stage talking about the Women Empowerment Award. Like, is that weird?
Once again.
Actually, no, it's not. It's not weird at all, because Women Empowerment Award, there were a couple of instances where, of course, we had this, kind of constructive feedback from informed citizens who said, like, oh, that's so biased and so unfair. Why are you only giving these awards to women? And you kind of argue back that we're still living in a male-dominated world, and so on and so on, and they won't buy it. So what we did was we worked with Impact Intelligence and had an AI-backed solution data mine all of the 500 applications that we got this year, 502 actually. And because before we were like, okay, there's a lot of not so usable data in there, and they said, like, there's no data trash. You can find patterns in anything that you analyze. And I don't know, luckily or sadly or not so surprisingly, I don't know. Reading the presentation and listening to those results, I felt like back in 1950 Europe. And sometimes still here, because what are the problems that the women face? Not being taken seriously, no access to finance, not being able to manage family and job together, being treated as secondary people if there are men in the room. All of these things, like the classic kind of issues that we have, why there's no equal society and so on and so forth. So we looked at this data, and anytime anybody comes and says, like, oh, why are you doing this? I'm like, yeah, here, dude. Just read it. It's statistics. Like it's anecdotal, of course, but this really shows why swinging back the pendulum is not just a reaction. It's of the essence to make the world a little bit more equitable. And one more anecdote before I actually give the floor to the stars here of the evening. In my personal experience, there was one specific moment where I was completely flabbergasted when Pong and I were kind of fly on the wall in the selection process from the best 20 to the best 10, so kind of the pre-finalists, right? So they weren't even the finalists, they were like the pre-finalists. From 500 you go down to 20. And then we were in this open room and there were people dropping in and out and so on. And I think it was Mussolina who was a couple of times in the room, so we were discussing with her and so on. And then her and the other women there started basically pitching each other's ideas and saying like, no, her solution is better, basically, you know, like her. And there was like, and they said like, hey, we spent these 6 weeks, it's only virtual, but we've become a community. Like, we are a tight-knit community of women who support each other. And I was looking at it, and I was like, yeah, damn, if it would have been 50% men, that just wouldn't have happened. I mean, just seriously, 6 weeks, virtual, no prize, and you still become a community. So here you can see why it's so important to do that, because those types of communities, we want to give access to the herds of this world who might be interested in investing in one of those ventures before they win, or even though they don't win. So where's the added value here? You know, grow the network, support each other. If you have another prize, the water challenge, for example, oh, it's not for me, but maybe you, I know you from this community, so please do it. So all of this being said, that's all I'm going to say, because we and Bayer Foundation in this context doesn't really matter. What matters is those women who are changing the world today for better. So welcome them.
Thank you, Stefan. Thanks a lot for that really quick introduction. We will talk about solidarity, about the challenges, about how they help each other, and about how these women have found win-win situations out of nowhere they created, and they do it together. But also about together, we have done all this journey, not only with these amazing entrepreneurs and over 500 applications, also with ecosystem partners in the sub-Saharan Africa, and also with our beloved jury members. Where are they? I see Andre here. I also see Madeline over there and Sika. I do not. Nice. Now I have the 3 jury members on stage. In these jury members, we also had Jen Karen, SVP of Digital and Commercial Innovation and CIO at Bayer Pharmaceuticals, and Monica Lessel, SVP and Head of Corporate R&D and Social Innovation at Bayer, as well as the Executive Director of Bayer Foundation. Both of them could not join us today, but that is why also we have thanks Andre for being here. You all know Andre, so thank you for that. Also, Sika, Program Director from Mercy Crops Agrifin. Thank you for being here and the tough job you did. And last but not least, Madeline Magma, our CFO at Unknown Group. I did not introduce myself. I was super rude. I am Sara Marata, Program Facilitator at Unknown Group. My colleague Giedra already introduced the work we do. And in case you have any doubts, she's the person to go to, and she will clarify all of it. Before diving into the entrepreneurs, I would like to ask, let me see, where is my colleague Femke? So, for example, I think you have Sika now, super close. Sika, I would like to ask you, how did you do that, no? Because from 10 marvelous, impactful innovations, you had to choose 5, and all of them were outstanding. So how did you do this decision? What were you looking out, and what stood out of these 5 winners?
Thanks for that question. I don't know if I had too much wine, but I guess it was a tough process. I mean, in the closed room discussions with the rest of the jury members, we all recognized that each of the entrepreneurs, the last 10, were brilliant organizations. And I think it was a tough conversation. They all talked about their story and the impact that they were having, the potential for scale. And it really got down to the jury members understanding the context that they're working in, understanding the markets, so they could come up with, okay, which are the most promising out of these 10? All of them are fantastic, but we were able to then just limit ourselves. And I think some of us cried when the ones that you were routing for did not actually get into the top list. So, but it was a great process. I really loved the work that was done. I think every entrepreneur really enjoyed the process as well and gained a lot of skills. I've been in a lot of these panels and really seen entrepreneurs that can really sell their story, that know the impact that they have, and are looking at how they can scale their solutions to impact a lot of farmers. There was an amazing job done. So also kudos to you guys for organizing that.
Thank you to you, Sik, as well, for being part of the jury members. And throughout the whole selection process, we also had a lot of help from Bio Foundation industry experts. I saw Stefan somewhere here. Also, Karen also helped us. So we gathered a lot of insights to get to these 5 outstanding female entrepreneurs. Unfortunately, one of them could not join, so I will introduce her. But I'm going to start with the ones that are present here. And I'm going to start with Mussolina Monza. If you can please join me on stage. Mussolina, tell me, and tell the audience a bit about Safe Motherhood Alliance, and of course, I think from your story, what really stood out is why, no? Why did you decide to found Safe Motherhood Alliance, and how is it going so far?
Thank you for the warm welcome. Really, it has been an amazing experience since I touched down in Berlin. Thank you, everyone, for making me feel so welcome. And my story really is a story that I felt, when it happened to me, I had been living in a bubble. Because I had been a civil engineer for 15 years working in the private sector and public sector. And then, as with every woman's story, I got married. So, then I started my family. But then I realized the challenges that women face to access adequate medical health care when I was asked by the hospital to provide my own birth materials, my own scalpel blade, delivery mat, gloves. And I was shocked that I had to do this. And I realized that I had the option of going to a private hospital to give birth from, but I couldn't unsee what I saw. And I made it my mission from that day on to change that narrative for every pregnant woman that is going through this in Africa. And that's how I started Safe Motherhood Alliance, providing baby delivery kits to pregnant women in low-income communities, connecting them to traditional birth attendants who are trained by us, and they have safe, sterile tools, so they never have to feel scared when they're pregnant. All they should focus on is bringing to life this healthy baby, and not worried that the hospital will chase them and make them give birth on the way. So that has been my mission, and it still is.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing it. And I'm going to ask you to take a seat. We're going to talk more about your mission and, of course, which are your needs and how can we help you achieve and help these women and achieve your mission. Thank you so much, Mussolina. But we have even more outstanding projects. Our next winner of the Bio Foundation Women Empowerment Award 2022 is Yvette Shimwa. Yvette from Iriba Water Group. Yeah, give it up, please. Yvette, my question for you, a bit on context. What does Iriba Water Group do? Which is the impact? And I think especially on the low-income communities, which is the impact that you and your team do there?
Sure. Thank you so much, everyone. Iriba Water Group is a social enterprise currently based in Rwanda that deals with providing affordable and innovative water solutions to low-income communities. And we do that through a twofold business model, setting up smart water vending machines in public places where low-income people are located, and also put those kind of systems in schools to facilitate students with affordable, safe drinking water. And we believe that, safe water is a basic need. No one should have to die for a lack of something so basic and so achievable as safe drinking water, and that's why we exist. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot, Yvette. Don't worry, I know this is like a teaser, and you want more, you'll get more. Do not worry about it, but we just keep them coming, and I think our next winner, directly from Kenya, is Claire Banem, founder of Farm to Feed. Claire, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think the question for you is, first of all, introduce Farm to Feed, and also I think you're the only winner of the Women Empowerment Award who got a spot on the finalist program because of the vote of the audience. So because of a public voting, global public voting, and you got your spot there thanks to the audience. So I would also like to know a bit, how does that, the feeling. Yeah, why not?
So Farm to Feed, in very short, is we create a market for imperfect to surplus produce. So we rescue this from farm level, where 50% doesn't reach the consumer, and we create a market for it. So we rescue and deliver this to customers. We started off as a COVID emergency relief, and then soon realized that actually the problem that we were solving was much bigger than it wasn't a pandemic problem. So we started making a social enterprise so that we could actually scale our impact, and so that more people and more organizations would be able to have access to more affordable, healthy nutrition that looked a little bit different. So that's Farm to Feed.
You do that with all female leadership.
All female leadership, that is our pride, of course, and I'm very proud of a very talented team. So we are full, 100% female leaders. The public voting. Well, exactly. Of course, I think, in short, of course, it's just very nice to find that people are rooting for you and that they recognize your mission and your cause. And of course, I think we have a lot to thank to our farmers that we work with, because we have a broad network there. So I don't think it's necessarily that people are wanting us, but just to have this broad network and to have built this network. So.
Claire, if this was a man, he would be taking all the credit.
That's
so
true.
Please
That's true.
Claire,
That's true.
Please don't.
That's
Come
true.
On.
That's true.
Thank you so much. Take a seat, Claire, and we'll get to know more about Farm to Feed. And last but not least, we have here with us today Azy Isiaya from Zurich Health, also directly from Kenya. And I don't know if there's anyone who doesn't know Zurich Health right now, because she's been doing an amazing job throughout the whole day. So I'm going to ask you, Daisy, to introduce Zurich Health once again. And also, I think you have some really exciting news to share with everyone.
Well, yes, I mean, I'm very, very excited. I'm honored to be here to interact with amazing women, amazing people who are actually seeing what you're trying to build and achieve as women. So I find that a lot of people underestimate the capabilities of women, but we are actually solving majority of challenges, not just healthcare, but majority of challenges in Africa. So Zurich Health is actually a mobile health solution providing affordable and accessible healthcare solutions via a mobile app, website, WhatsApp chatbot, and SMS service. I'm sure you're wondering why SMS service. It's because we figured out that as much as we have a lot of health tech companies trying to solve the problem of healthcare accessibility in Africa, they were still not meeting or solving that problem, which is healthcare is very, very expensive, and the distribution challenge, and the target market. So the solutions that were available were only solving for the high to middle income markets, leaving out those people who are living in the rural and underserved communities. So from our SMS service, we've been able to tap into the wider markets because we're able to provide fast-level medical consultation from as low as 10 cents daily, working with telco partnerships. So it's a very, very scalable model, and we see a lot of people embracing this model because Africa is a vast market. We cannot deny that fact. And currently, even 65% of mobile phone users don't have smartphones. So if we are only solving a solution via smartphone, are we really solving that problem? Think about that.
Thank you so much, Daisy. Now we have our 4 winners that are here with us today, but as mentioned, there were 5 winners. So we are missing Diana with us. Diana is the founder from NoFit, and I'm going to read that out loud, the message that Diana gave me to present the company, because I really don't want to make a mistake here. NoFit has developed a biotechnological platform where organic waste is converted into a natural, traceable, and safe non-animal protein source for aquaculture feeds. The platform allows to replace the production of unsustainable protein ingredients like fish meal and soy protein concentrates that are extensively used in aquaculture feeds globally. So NoFit also solving nutrition and health challenges and harvesting a healthier future for Africa. Diana Orembe from Tanzania. So please give it up for Diana. We will send the video to her. Thank you so much as well to my amazing team. But before I get to you ladies, I'm now looking at all of you because I need your help. Because we want to have a really fruitful discussion with these 4 outstanding female entrepreneurs. I'm also going to give, we have 3, so we're just going to have to share. Thank God we're really good at that. So
we're good.
But I'm going to need your help into creating this insightful conversation. Of course, I have prepared lots of questions, but I really want to know what you are curious about and what you want to ask Musalima, Yvette, Claire, and Daisy. To do so, you can enter into menti.com with your phone, really easy, you'll see, and introduce the code 10715480. Now I feel a bit like the lottery lady. But please do. I will receive your questions in the iPad, and we will have this conversation with the winners. But the first thing I want to ask you, ladies, is about impact, no? Which is the impact that you are currently making? How can this audience help you to even create more impact? And yes, which are your needs, your successes, and also needs to even further develop these successes? I don't know, who wants to break the ice? I know this is the tense moment. Come on, Mussolina, I see you.
Really, our impact is ensuring that pregnant women and women everywhere have access to adequate health care. This means providing them with tools necessary for them to be able to give birth in a safe manner, regardless of their location. In Zambia, as in many parts of sub-Saharan Africa, almost 53% of all births happen outside of a health facility. This means women have no access to a clinic or a hospital because there's just not the infrastructure there. So how do we build systems, healthcare systems, to ensure that women are protected wherever they give birth from? How do we create safe environments for them, that if it's a home birth, she has a trained traditional birth attendant next to her to help her deliver? So I would really want to network with people who are in this space so that we come together and find solutions to be able to distribute to the last mile, making sure that women throughout their journey from pregnancy to childbirth to postpartum have access to all the basic needs that they need to ensure they have a healthy newborn.
Thank you so much, Mussolina. And so please note your homework if you can network and help Mussolina in achieving this last mile and distributing these pregnancy kits. Safe Motherhood Alliance will have even greater impact. What about you, Claire, for example? Which is the impact made and
impact. Well,
how to make it
explain
bigger?
the impact, I think it's really important to explain the problem because I think it's a problem that not everyone knows. So 10% of greenhouse gas emissions globally come from food loss and waste. 10%, which is 6 times more than the global aviation industry. And especially in the West, we talk a lot about flying less, where actually the food waste and loss problem is huge. Food losses occur on farm level, which are ginormous. So in sub-Saharan Africa, half of fruits and vegetables never reach the consumer, half, which is huge. And at the same time, 1/3 of the Kenyan population specifically is food insecure. And that's because of food affordability. And at the same time, economically, $1.5 billion is lost annually because of post-harvest losses. So it has a huge economic effect. And of course, you can imagine on a farmer level, individually, if you are throwing away part of your harvest, it's a lost income because you're putting capital in the ground and you're unable to sell it. That has a huge impact on livelihoods in the rural area, specifically of Kenya. So that is sort of our 3 pillars. What we're trying to tackle is 1, nutrition for the food insecure, 2, farmer incomes, and 3, climate change. Converting what we rescue from farms and converting that concrete to save what we have saved on CO2 equivalents. So in short, that's
so
where
you're not bored at all. You have a lot of challenges to tackle, and thank you so much for that, Claire. And I would like to ask Yvette as well, and I would like to ask you, and I'm going to change questions. So this is going to be a really informal conversation. I have amazing questions, amazing audience. Sometimes people are really shy. That's why we do the technological, and it normally works. So what's the main barrier when scaling your solution? Scalability is one of the main challenges that we've been talking about. What about Iriba Water Group, which is your main challenge?
Yeah, thank you so much. First of all, there is a need, and we're talking about only in sub-Saharan Africa, 320 million people are without affordable access to safe drinking water. That's not good, I know, but that is, an opportunity for us to make change, and that gap that is there, to address it, we need partnerships, as we heard from the keynote speaker early this morning, that really partnerships is key for us to be able to reach every single person that needs our service. And that means, partners in the countries where we go to, that means funding partners, that means knowledge, we need knowledge. And where do we get the knowledge from? From people like you in your respective organizations, in your respective expertise. Please feel free to reach out if you have any kind of idea that you think is relevant to our work. I mean, we welcome all that. And yeah, if you know someone who knows someone, then, you know, that's key for us to be able to actually reach everywhere. So I would say really the challenge is we need access to those kind of opportunities, partnerships, and all those resources. And I know they're all available here, and that's what we're looking for.
So that was a really nice call to action, Yvette. Homework for you as well. And now I have a question for you, Daisy. It's not even a question. I mean, I don't know. That you have some fans on the audience who just told me, Zurich Health, when can we start in Uganda, Tanzania, Burundi, and Burkina Faso?
Wow, when they can start or when?
When can we start? When?
Immediately.
Immediately, nice.
Immediately. So something interesting or very beautiful about Zuri Health, we built out a very scalable business. And what I mean by scalable business is a lot of people, or when we talk to investors, they only think about fintech. But we had a very smart move around building this solution that will solve healthcare. And when I mean by scalable or sustainable, we understand that because we are doing partnerships with the telcos, we have a very easy market entry. We ride on their trust equity. Our cost of customer acquisition is very, very low, and we are able to actually acquire all these subscriber base. The telcos know you more than your banks. They understand your spending pattern. They know you more than your spouse, so they're able to understand even your lending. And for us, because healthcare is a fundamental human right, we were able to actually build out different solutions such that even if you do not have access to pay that 10 cents to afford first-level medical consultation, we're able to lend you airtime to be able to access these services. So most interesting is you might think about how we've been able to be known countrywide. It's because we've close partnership with over 16 telcos. And in just over 1 year of operations, we are currently live in 8 African markets. And we are actually looking to aggressively expand because the challenges that we face in Kenya as a market is the same challenge that someone in Burkina Faso is facing, someone in Nigeria is facing. It's everywhere. Healthcare in Africa is very, very expensive. Sub-Saharan Africa bears the highest, biggest problem in terms of healthcare access and the cost factor, distribution challenge. So if we are able to provide a solution for one market, which is Kenya, what makes it difficult for us to launch in a different market? Nothing.
So let's do it.
That's it.
And now I'm gonna do a bit of a plot twist. Before that, ladies, we have some water, because I know it's really hot in here, so please feel free to grab some water. Because we're talking about the success of Zurich Health and how easy, no, for you would be to expand to the whole Africa. But someone in the audience wants to know, what was your biggest failure this year? Who wants to air the dirty laundry? Come on. Yes.
I don't have a specific example, but I think every month you have 10 failures and 2 successes. It's like that with a startup. There is the constant, you try, it doesn't work, you try something else, it works. There are, for every solution in your solution, there are 10 failures before you have the right way to do it. So it is, you just need a very tough skin, I think, to have a startup. I think everyone who has a startup, I think, agrees. You need a very tough skin. There are people that will tell you that it doesn't work. When it does work, that you'll tell yourself something's not working because you tried 10 times, and then you have a breakthrough. So it is, I think, there are countless of failures, I think. I'll think about the biggest one, but I think that is like the way of being. And then that one success brings you further. Yeah.
Thanks, Claire. And if it does come back, please just...
Yeah. I have some gossip, then you can come to me there as well.
I'll get back to the biggest failure. But talking about failure, someone in the audience, this question is for you, Mussolina, wants to know which has been the biggest bottleneck to delivering the pregnancy kits to women.
I would say there have been a few, several, and no offense to the men here, we've been bashing them a lot today. So, but one of the biggest issues we've had really is patriarchy, especially in Africa, where it's the woman who's pregnant and is supposed to deliver the baby, but the man is the one standing in front of you telling you can't give her a birth kit because he wants to know what's involved in the procedure. And it's always very sad to see the woman sitting in a corner, very quiet, not asking any questions. It's a husband or partner who's actually doing all the talking. So I think that's one of the biggest issues we've had. So early on, we realized we have to engage the men first, because it's no point, engaging the women first and, they agree to everything, only to be stifled by her husband at a certain point, and you fail to help her. And that was a very painful moment when we realized that. So what we do now is we start the conversation with the husband, with the partner, family member, ensure that they understand what we're trying to do. We use so many antidotes. We tell them, this is your future cattle herder. You want to make sure that they're healthy and they're born, and immediately they understand the conversation. And we realize it's that simple, really. So now we make them our partners. And they're our biggest advocates. It's such a pleasure when you're going in the morning to the hospitals and you see the men lined up with bicycles, waiting with their $5 to buy a kit for their wives. That's the biggest joy that we always get, because then we've seen that they've understood what the mission is.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mussolina, and I hope that whatever bottleneck comes next, you will overcome it as you did in here. We have a really smart audience today, smarter female entrepreneurs, of course, I'm sorry. I mean, they're my favorite, but the audience is not bad. They're asking me, which advice would you give, and this one I'm going to do to Yvette, which advice would you give for other women who want to achieve a social impact as an entrepreneur, tips, learnings that you would share with even Yvette from a few years ago?
Sure. I think the advice I'll give to another woman who wants to pursue social entrepreneurship, first is the responsibility lies on yourself. Before you look or you point finger to, this man didn't give me this, or my husband didn't give me this. What have you given to yourself first? And the moment we take responsibility first, then the society is going to also give us space. And I think that's really very important. And I think what really puts women back more often is ourselves. We put ourselves back before anybody else. And so I think I'll advise those women to be courageous enough to make the first move, make the first step. And feel free to ask for support. Sometimes we even deny the assistance that we can get because we think we won't get it. For example, I'll give you an example. For me to come here, I have a little baby, we're together here, and the chances were high that I couldn't make it because I can't leave that little baby at home alone, and my husband has work to do, he has business to run, and I reached out and I said, can you help me and accompany me to Berlin so that I can attend this conference and you help me take care of baby? He welcomed that with open arms, and we had to fly together. He helped me with the baby. So I think it's just a matter of really being open enough to ask for help when you need help, instead of just guessing that you won't get the support that you need. That's just an example, socially, but also even professionally, looking for funding. Knock, be courageous and be brave enough to knock where you think the opportunity is.
Thank you so much, Yvette, for sharing that with all of us. And I would like to know, Daisy, if you have anything to add, if there is any other advice that would have helped you to know at the beginning of this long journey with Zurich Health.
When we are trying to build an impact solution, you always consider impact as very, very big. But what you don't know is, even when you change the life of one person, that's already an impact. So throughout this journey, I learned to celebrate my small wins. If I solve a solution for one user, I would actually post it, and it actually gave me, that motivation to continue building and touching different lives. So that's part of what I've learned, and part of what I've also grown to understand is we are able to, only solve the solution when we come together. So even throughout the entire journey, I was able to interact with different women, hear about their stories. We made friends, I made partners, and we're still in touch. So it's a very, very important, event and organization, because we are also like mirrors and role models to the young girls just like us back home. Girls who want to give up, but when they see us, they feel like, yes, I've seen Daisy somewhere, so I can still, my dreams are valid, I can still push, because we have now role models. You have someone to look up to, and that's what shapes us as women.
Yes. Thank you so much, Daisy. Also, I'm a bit suspicious that Daisy was cheating and was looking at my iPad, because the next question was really related to what you were just mentioning. Someone in the audience, and I think it's more than just one person, wants to know how can we empower more female entrepreneurs in Africa, in this case in the sub-Saharan Africa. Role models you mentioned, Daisy. What else can we do? Can the audience do? Can we all do? What do you think can help?
I mean, when we come together, create organizations that actually are targeted towards empowering women, part of what Bear Foundation is doing, we are actually being exposed through these programs, because when you name it as a women, empowered organization, a lot of people now see the focus and are actually able to see what you're trying to build as women, what we're trying to achieve as women. So we are able to expand our ideas, inject fundings to women. I'm telling you, if you invest in a woman, you're investing in the entire community. Help us get all those strategic partnerships, the correct networking forums where we are able to share about our challenges and understand what we're able to do when we come together.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Daisy. And Yvette, you wanted to add, please?
Sure. I think one more thing that needs to be considered is when tailoring solutions for women entrepreneurs in particular communities, consider bringing them on board in conceptualizing or brainstorming the ways you want to help them. Because sometimes we see programs coming in and they have already thought what a Kenyan woman needs to be able to be empowered. And maybe I thought about this when I was sitting here in Berlin, and I plan to, I create a proposal of how I can empower some woman in Kigali. And most of the times when I reach there, I bring that concept. It might not be so relevant to the local context. So I think it's very important to actually bring them early on in the ideation phase and consider the local context, the local challenges, and the local culture, because culture is also very key to design really solutions that work, strategies that really are going to empower those women, be in East Africa or elsewhere across the world. I think that's what I wanted to add.
Yeah, thank you so much, Yvette, for adding that. I'm really sad because they just keep coming, the questions, they just keep coming, and I would really be here with you for 4 more hours. Fortunately, we will have to start wrapping up. We have one question from the audience, and maybe it just open from whomever is faster, let's say. They want to know if you're working with larger players in the private sector, and if so, what works, what doesn't, which problems do you find, which successes?
Yeah, I can take that one. So we're very fortunate because of the work that we do in maternal health care. There are a lot of private players in that space. So we are working with USAID in Zambia, who have provided us with a very good platform for us to be able to scale up our work. And this all happened because of a conversation of someone who knew the work I was doing. So really, something I would add to the previous conversation to piggyback off that is, especially for women entrepreneurs, is speak up for us in rooms that we can't access, because that's where the magic happens. If someone mentions the work that you're doing and they're looking for a partner in another country, and this was someone from UNFPA in Uganda, and they said there's someone else in Zambia doing this. Maybe I should connect you with them. So really, speak up for us in rooms that we can't access, because that is where we're able to leapfrog and get to, the skill that we need to scale up to. So yeah, we're always looking for partnerships, especially in maternal health care, because for us, really, we want to make sure that pregnancy and childbirth are not a dangerous time for a woman anywhere in the world. We've had requests from places such as Venezuela, in Ethiopia. And our question is always, how do we leapfrog and get to the next country? That is always the question we have, because the indicators show us that what's happening in Zambia is not unique to Zambia. The statistics are high. Women are dying every day because of childbirth, because of uncomplicated cases. We need to get to 0 deaths in the next 50 years, otherwise we'll lose a generation.
Thank Thank you so much, Mussolina. And Claire, I think you wanted to add.
No, just to add to that, I think we are all sitting here tackling these humongous problems.
And questions are the audience fault, eh?
Yeah.
Questions?
No, but it is the only way to actually succeed at solving your problem is through partnerships, because we have a solution that you can't just implement somewhere and put somewhere. It can only be done when you have partners on all sides, on the offtake or on the person supplying it to you. So it can only be done if there's a movement behind every one of our solution, and a support network and partners and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I think we have a lot of possible partners for all of you here. We had some conversation as well with Anouk, your colleague, with a lot of possibilities. And before wrapping up, I want to hear some more. I would like to ask all of you ladies to please share with the audience your biggest ambition, so your big dream. When does this end? What do you see for the future for Zurich Health, for Farm to Feed, for Idiba Water Group, and for Safe Motherhood Alliance? Oof, I see some looking.
Well, if it's the biggest dream, the biggest dream, of course, is like the 3 pillars of problems that we're tackling is there is no food loss in sub-Saharan Africa. If I just focus on Africa, and if we can take our solution and our platform to South America or all these different places, of course, that's the biggest dream.
Okay.
That is dreaming.
Yeah, I know. And then with this dream, how can this audience, or even someone that can be, for example, recorded, how can they help you? So asking for help and giving a call to action to all this audience and putting them in a bit of hurry.
Yeah, so we have a huge supply chain, right? So we source from farmers, we do the fleet management, we have a warehouse, and we have the customer delivery. So looking for partners in any place along that value chain, we're very practical, and we're building a tech platform together with Mercy Corps, which is very exciting. But anyone that can help us drive our fleet or can help us with partners, huge partners that have huge amounts of farmers so that our supply can grow, or partners on the other side where we can start processing food losses so that no one knows that it's a broken carrot, that it is a baby food or this food or that food. For the partnerships for me are endless along that chain, so that we can rescue and be creative in the way we rescue and handle food. Yeah.
Thank you for that, Claire. She's looking at you, so please get back to her during the barbecue we will be having in a few minutes. Ibet, what about you? Biggest dream, and how can they help you achieve that?
Well, we have so many biggest dreams, but I think I'll just share with you the current step that we want to make. First of all, by 2025, we want to reach 500,000 people with safe drinking water access. We want to create 436 decent jobs through our franchise model. We want to be avoiding 20 million metric tons of CO2 emissions every month. And to reach there, we need funding, we need partners, we need knowledge. And I know that is in you. So please, if you have any resource that can help us reach those targets, those growth plans, you're more than welcome, and I can't wait to meet you.
Thank you, Beth. We're still missing Mussolina Daisy. Who was first?
I can go next. Really, I would just echo what everyone else has said. It's really just connecting us to the right people, because really our biggest vision is to literally see 0 deaths in Africa that are preventable. And we can only do this by connecting with each other and connecting to the right people. And I realized innovation plays a key role. When COVID hit last year, and we could not get any supplies for our own value chains to supply kits, we really looked to our own innovations, and we came up with, sanitary pads made from banana fiber, something I would have never thought of. So even in the worst challenge, you can always find the best opportunity, because now we'll be able to supply these sanitary pads to even girls in schools. So really what I would want to ask from the audience is, connect us to the right people, because we need funding, we need to scale up. We want to go into every country that we can be a resource, and also help us to train our TBAs. Traditional birth attendants are really the backbone of every health system in Africa. And the way we work with them is ensuring they also have, economic freedom by giving them a % of every kit that they sell. So this creates healthy communities in where they work. So really our dream is to ensure that, women all over Africa are really emancipated.
Thank you so much, Mussolina. And last but not least, Daisy, what about Zurich Health?
Well, this is very, very big for me. How I envision Zurich Health is one of Africa's unicorn, providing affordable, sustainable, and accessible healthcare solution. And our strategy to scale is growth through partnerships. And because we understand that the fact that we are also looking to expand in different markets, our main challenge is because healthcare in Africa is either highly regulated or over-regulated. So we want to be able to partner with key stakeholders to be able to create frameworks around telemedicine, because in Africa, very few countries have this, yet it's fundamental if we are to achieve sustainable development goals.
Thank you so much, Daisy. And now it is time to wrap it up, but it is time to start celebrating, so not bad. I would like, first of all, Mussolina, Yvette, Claire, Daisy, I have not enough words to thank you for being here, for flying in from the sub-Saharan Africa to be here and share your stories today, for the hard work you do and harvesting a healthier future for Africa. So thank you, ladies, really. And now it's time to celebrate. To celebrate, we first of all need to stand up. We will get rid of the chairs as we go. I think you all got some bubbles already. The thing, audience, was to get the bubbles all together. I'm just going to, 5 more minutes and you're free, I promise. First of all, if you have further questions for these outstanding female entrepreneurs, they're going to be here. Also, Diana Orembe from Nofit, you can find her on LinkedIn. So please feel free to reach out to all of them and fulfill their biggest dreams. Now, ladies, we're going to the most ceremonial part of the award. However, we're also going to do it really informal. For that, I think, let's see how we do it, Tim. We're just going on the way, yeah? I think our first jury member I see online, it's Sika. I think, Sika, you are handing the certificate and the award to Claire. So please, Sika, and give it up for Claire. Are we taking the official picture? Then we will get all together as well and take a more informal one. Thank you so much, Sika, for joining us today. Next in line, I see Madeline, and Madeline is going to give the award to Mussolina Monza. So please give it up for Safe Motherhood Alliance. Next to go, since we had a little bit of a shortage of jury members with us today because of last-minute cancellations, Abby from My Medicines, who you've seen her throughout the whole day, made the honor to hand the award to, Daisy, from Zurich Health. And last but not least, I have Andre to my right, and the only one with no prize is Yvette from Medieval Water Group. So, now, I would ask jury members, please come back to stage with all the entrepreneurs. We'll have the formal picture, and afterwards, don't leave. We'll have a more informal selfie all together. Audience, do you have your bubbles in the meantime? I see amazing team also. Give it up for the team behind. There are bubbles. More bubbles on the way. Sorry. And I think that what is only left is for all of us to toast for the topic of this Women Empowerment Award 2022, which is to harvest a healthier future for for Africa. So thank you so much. Cheers to all of you as well.